Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I made this cake for my husband Steve for Father's Day and I thought I would share it with you. I'll link the website below of where I got this recipe. In their recipe they used the canned cream cheese frosting. I chose chocolate because that's Steve's favorite. I attempted to have the frosting look like it looks on their website, but it was kind of a fail for me. But I'll show you my attempt just so you can see what I did wrong. But this is how they did it, and this Eastern one is really cute too. To get started, preheat your oven to 325 degrees. I'm going to use this Pampered Chef stone Bundt pan. I've had it for a long time. You can tell it's well worn, but any Bundt pan will work. And then you just want to be sure that you either spray it or you've greased it well so that the cake does not stick. This recipe really is easy. All you do is add all of the ingredients into the bowl except for the chocolate chips at this point. So as I'm adding them here, I'm going to go over how much of each one you're adding. The recipe is in the description box below, but hopefully that will be easier for you if I'm covering it here now too. So the first two things I've added to the bowl is the 15-ounce Devil's Food cake mix, the 3.4-ounce chocolate instant pudding box, the 4 eggs, and the 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. Then we're going to add some chocolate syrup, a 1/4 cup here. And then in addition to that, you need to add a 1/2 cup of warm water. So I just used the same measuring cup. The syrup kind of stuck to it. So I just added water to it to kind of get that syrup out of the container. Then the next thing you're adding is a cup of sour cream. So anybody that's made my banana bread recipe, you know that I'm a fan of adding sour cream to baked goods. So here we're adding the sour cream. And then the last ingredient is a teaspoon of vanilla. And now it's time to mix it all together. You can use a KitchenAid mixer for this, or I just chose to just use my hand mixer. It's just as easy as using the KitchenAid. You just want to be sure with this batter that it's well combined, that you've gotten it all the way on the bottom. Once I think I have, I always use a rubber spatula and just go around all the edges and along the bottom just to make sure everything is incorporated. Then the last step for the batter is to add the cup of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. You don't use the whole bag here, it's just a cup, so you're using about 2/3 of the bag. And then fold in the chocolate chips, mixing until it is evenly combined. Now it's time to transfer our batter into the Bundt pan. If you didn't prepare the pan at the beginning, if you haven't sprayed it or greased your Bundt pan, make sure you do that before you add the batter because you don't want the cake to stick. And now before you put it in the oven, just make sure that it's all level so that it'll bake even, and when it comes out, it won't be lopsided. I baked this cake for an hour. I did check it at 55 minutes, and it can take up to even 70. You don't want to let it get completely dry because of the chocolate chips. It's going to be a little bit moister. So when you stick the toothpick in, it might not be completely clean, but you're looking for it to be done. And then you want to be sure that you run the knife around the edges. You let it sit for 20 minutes before you turn it over because you want the cake to seize up a little bit and pull away from the sides of the pan, and that way hopefully it won't stick. So what I'm doing here is just using my cooling rack as the bottom, just going to turn the cake over and then jiggle it a little bit. And you know, it's always just the best news when you take the cake pan off and everything is intact. And then you want to be sure and let it cool completely before you start to frost it. The recipe calls for canned cream cheese frosting, but I chose to use this chocolate fudge one instead. So what we're going to do is take the frosting out of the container and we're going to add it to a Ziploc bag because we're going to use that as our piping bag. I'm not sure if the cream cheese frosting and this chocolate one are the same consistency. I'm sure they're close, but this did seem a little thin to me. So I did put it in the refrigerator for a little bit just to cool it down and maybe have it not be so melted. So the first thing you need to do to pipe this on is to cut off the tip of this Ziploc bag. And honestly, that was my first mistake. I cut that tip too big. So when I went to start trying to make the ribbons up and across, they were too thick. And so it was kind of hard to maneuver. And plus, this was the first time I had done it. So they just didn't turn out, they certainly didn't look like the website. Let me put it that way. But I just kept going. I really think, when you're trying something new, you just got to give it a try. Things don't have to look perfect. It's okay. A tip here, if it is the first time, and not that I did this, but it is a good idea, is to maybe try it on a paper plate or something before you actually start on the cake. But I did get all the way around. I tried to, add in where there were some empty spots and just use up the rest of that frosting here in the middle. Then I had an idea to add some of those extra chocolate chips onto the middle to disguise some of my mistakes. So I do think the chocolate chips helped, and it didn't look horrible at this point, but wait for it because it gets worse. So the lid hit the side of the cake and ruined the back side of my little ribbons. So I just decided that the answer would be just to spread the frosting on and, give up trying to make it look like ribbon. And you know what? It tastes great either way. So here is the finished cake. It really is delicious, very moist. I think you're gonna like this one. Next up, I probably will try it with the cream cheese frosting. I bet that would be great too. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you give this one a try. I think you're really gonna like it. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. See you next time. Bye-bye.